Nurse Florence, how do our fingernails grow? This book is written by Michael Dow and illustrated by Kelsey Tone. Have you ever wondered how your fingernails grow? Well, guess what, boys and girls? We are about to learn how. How do our fingernails grow? Sonia, says Jean, I didn't review my history notes last night because we were playing soccer in the backyard all afternoon after school. I was just too tired and went to sleep early. Don't worry, Jean, says Sonia. I'm sure you'll do great. Jean starts to feel very nervous because she doesn't want to get a bad grade. She starts to peel her fingernail. Oh no, thinks Jean to herself. I peeled the nail too far back and it hurts a lot. I've got to stay focused and pass this quiz, thinks Jean. Jean lets the quiz distract herself from the pain and reads each question carefully. After completing the quiz, she gets up to bring the quiz to Miss Smith and to tell her about her fingernail. Miss Smith, I peeled my fingernail and peeled it too far and it hurts a lot. Can I go see Nurse Florence to clip it so I don't peel it further? I'm sorry to hear that, Jean. Yes, you can go right now, says Miss Smith as she stands up and goes to open the door. As Jean walks to the nurse's office, she thinks to herself, my finger hurts. I shouldn't have peeled my nail. I hope Nurse Florence can clip it without hurting it more. I wonder how I did on the pop quiz. I don't want Mom and Dad to be disappointed in me. Jean arrives to the nurse's office and says, Nurse Florence, I need some help. How can I help you today? Says Nurse Florence. I got nervous about a quiz, says Jean, and started peeling a fingernail. I peeled it too far back and it hurts a lot. Can you clip it so I don't peel it back any further? I sure can, says Nurse Florence. Nurse Florence looks in the drawer and gets out the fingernail clippers. Okay, says Nurse Florence. Hold your fingers still. Nurse Florence clips the nail. Thanks a lot, says Jean. Is there anything else I can do for you? Says Nurse Florence. I have been wondering the last week about how fingernails grow. Can you tell me? Sure, says Nurse Florence as she takes out her smartphone from her pocket. Nurse Florence searches for nail anatomy on her phone. The blue arrow is pointing to what is called the nail plate, and the black arrow is pointing to the area under the skin that is called the matrix, or nail root, which produces the nail. The orange arrow is pointing to what is called the lunula, says Nurse Florence. Here's a side view of the fingertip, says Nurse Florence. The nail matrix produces cells that eventually get filled with a protein called keratin. The cells get squished and die. These dead cells get pushed forward, which is how the nail grows. Jean looks up to Nurse Florence and says, That seems strange and neat at the same time. Our bodies are amazing. Here's another image showing cells getting pushed into the nail, says Nurse Florence. Nails are just an example of life, of how things are always moving and changing. Don't be afraid of change, Jean. Learn to adapt to it. Adapting can make you a stronger person emotionally. Thanks, Nurse Florence. Can you tell me some fun facts about nails? Says Jean. Nurse Florence reaches over and grabs a book and says, "Sure, let's look in my book about the body." Let's see. Nails grow less than 1 millimeter a day. Also, the same protein that fills nails is the same for hair called keratin. Fingernails grow faster than toenails, and it looks like they grow faster in the summer. Also, doctors and nurses might press on your nail to see if you are having good blood flow. They want it to turn from white, then back to pink quickly. Can you do that to your nail? Let's do it together. Let's press down on our nail. What color does it turn? White, and then back to pink quickly. Now, Jean, I have a question for you, says Nurse Florence. Why was the quiz stressing you out? Because you said that was why you started peeling your fingernails. I was stressed about the pop quiz in class because I want to make my parents happy. Well, school is important and it can help you prepare to get a good job, so I understand that your parents may want you to do really good. Let's talk about 2 things you can do to help manage your stress, says Nurse Florence. First, there's something called square breathing. Breathe through your nose for 4 seconds, then hold your breath for 4 seconds. Next, release your breath through your mouth for 4 seconds, and then do not breathe for 4 seconds. Repeat this 5 times. Let's do that together. Wow, how did that make you feel? Jean practices square breathing and then says, I can feel my body slow down a little bit. This is relaxing. Here's another simple coping skill you can do when you are stressed, says Nurse Florence. Act like you are holding a ball in your hand and then touch your thumb to each fingertip in order from your pointer to your pinky, and then touch your pinky again and go back to your pointer and so on. As Jean does this, she says, "You're right, Nurse Florence. It is kind of peaceful doing this." So, let's pretend like we're holding a ball in our hand and then touch your thumb to each fingertip in order from your pointer to your pinky. And then back again. Wow, that is peaceful. Well, it's probably time for you to get back to class, Jean, says Nurse Florence. Jean gets up and starts walking toward the door. Thank you so much for helping and teaching me today. I'm so happy you're my school nurse, says Jean. Bye, Jean. I hope you have a good rest of your day and learn a lot, says Nurse Florence. I will, Nurse Florence. Bye, says Jean as she walks away. I know I sure learned something about how our fingernails grow, and I hope you did too. And you know what else we learned together? A couple of coping skills that we can use when we are stressed. Breathing in and holding our breath, and holding the ball and doing this. It slows us down and makes us relax. So next time you're stressed, give that a try. Everybody have a blessed day, and I will see you during next story time. Be sure to join my tribe and subscribe.